Hey, what's going on, guys? Double 18 Set Shadow here. Showdowns are continuing for this season of January through March, and I just had my second one recently where I posted on Twitter on my results. Unfortunately, I fell one game short of taking first and taking home the prize, but I say I did alright. But yeah, that's just how it is. I ended up taking Beauty and the Beast, given that I'm a Forestcraft main. Still like the deck quite a lot, and I feel like I've improved with it quite a bit. In the end, I ended up losing to Fable Eggburn, which was quite a fight. And today we're going to be talking a bit about the Showdown prize promos that we've seen, in addition to some other cards. So before we get into those prizes, I do want to go over Cerberus, which we haven't talked about for a little while. The card has been seeing, like a lot of other set 1 legendaries that are probably going to be staple for a while for a lot of other decks, it is seeing a slight increase in value when it comes to the base legendary and a bit of a rebound on the Evo. Of course, the hype that we saw on the super legendaries has long calmed down and has not recovered from that same point that it was at before. You can see the base super legendary is currently $30 base, and the market price is $48.05. And then if you want the super legendary of the Evo, that was hyped up past $50 at one point, though it didn't really hold, and now the card is base $14.50. If you're looking for the regular versions of the legendary, the base form is at $11 right now, and the Evo is $190. There's also Millie Parable, which is the Niji-Sanji feature for set 3. I have been hearing some things regarding Niji-Sanji in the news these days. I'm not going to go very far into that. So today, I'm not one to really pay attention much to VTubers as it is. I just kind of hear it from my local and my colleagues. But Millie Parable right now has her printing as the Wizardess of Oz, and she has her SP that you can pick up as the Wizardess of Oz, and her leader card, where the leader card is the bigger one right now at $254.65, and the SP is currently at $180. Those are the base prices available. If you want, though, there is a promo version of her leader card, which is significantly cheaper in comparison, though I don't know how easy it is to pull out of boxes. It's $624 base, and the market price is $766 on that one. And if you just want the regular alternate art print of it for Wizardess of Oz, that's $2, and the market price is $253. Now going into the prize cards, the first one is going to be Silverbolt, which is our most recent Shadowverse Showdown prize card. Currently, the lowest listing is $25, which is also lightly played, by the way. And this one has not been selling. The last one that it sold was also a lightly played for $20. But in the end, just like with the other ones, we're not seeing a lot of movement on these prize promos, which honestly, it's kind of depressing to think that for something like this, which is supposed to be a tournament that only happens 2 or 3 times in your local area, or, if you go to a bunch of them, that depends, but yeah, for them to be sitting in the $25 range can feel a little bit upsetting, given that it's a prize. You would hope that it's going to be a bit. The same goes for Leonitis right now, where the base price is $23 on this one. And you can see that this one sparsely sells. $25 back in January, but it dropped off, and the recent sales were $16 and $11. And when it comes to the showdowns, entry for those is, for me, it's $10. And I can't say the same for other locals, but for your prize cards to only sell at a rate of maybe 15 like this, it just sucks. I just feel it just sucks to me. But anyway, $23 is the lowest price right now. It goes up to 50. Yes, I keep saying I'm dropping my price on this one, but I never actually get around to it. But to be fair, even if I did drop it, as you can see, no one is going to buy it in the 20s at this point. So I guess it just doesn't seem to matter to me anyway. Path to Purgatory, which was our first Showdown promo. This one was the one that did manage to sell higher initially. It was our first Shadowverse Showdown promo, but it's fallen under the same problem as the other two, where the price has just dropped off so hard that you can only sell it in the low 20s and below 20. Other ones have all the listings right now are now $24 plus. But given that Path to Purgatory doesn't even get played as much anymore, I can't see this selling at this value anymore, except very sparsely. Now, something that did get ridiculous is Dragon Oracle. Remember, this card is a staple in Dragoncraft today and only comes in the starter decks. The problem is, you can see the base price is now $10 for this card, and players have been buying into playsets here, even though the price of the deck is lower than that. It's $20 to pick up a deck, shipping included, and there are also 78 copies from this particular seller. So if you are buying Dragon Oracles in triplet for $30, remember, you can pick up the deck and you will still get the Dragon Oracles in triplet for a cheaper price, plus the rest of the deck and all the other extra goodies that come with it. So just keep that in mind. Don't buy into the hype of what Dragon Oracle is at right now. And then moving into some Fable stuff, we've also got Jabra Walk, which is really not that expensive to pick up. It's under $1 for its lowest listing on the Legendary. The Super Legendary is $640 base, and the market price is about $750. If you want the Ultimate Rare, that is a little pricey at about $74, a little lower than its market price of $75.25. The other thing about it, though, is that they didn't alt art it into its dragon form. They just waifu'd it. Honestly, I don't know the overall history of Jabra Walk, but I don't think it involved it becoming a woman, so not gonna say much more than that. Anyway, Diamond Master's the next card to go over, where really cheap to pick up as a legendary right now. 68 cents for its base form and 70 cents for the Evo. And the Super Legendaries, still pretty cheap for Super Legendaries. $3.88 for its base form. And this is still the other interesting thing. The Evo of the Super Legendary is higher than the base form Super Legendary. It's $6.10, and the market price is $8.89, which Legendaries usually have that flipped. So it's weird to see this scenario, and I honestly don't know why that happened. Mock Knight. This is another card for heroes, which, as a silver, it's not too expensive to pick up. 18 cents and 20 cents between the base and Evo. If you want the foil versions, though, they're both almost around the same price, $3.50 to $4, and they both have 5 listings left. Now, I suppose when you consider how we covered Valiant Fencer last time, you also have to remember that this deck, in low rarity form, is still the cheapest to play for this format, but getting into the foils, this deck is pretty strong, and so you gotta pay attention to some of the common cards that end up going into it and their premium versions. Chellia Tia has a lot more listings back on the market for its regular base form. I was noting how this card was moving towards $15 and ran out of listings at some point, but we've got 10 listings again at $9.50 to start off with. The recent sales have all been $10 to $14, but the number of quantities under $10 now, we have 4 listings with about 14 copies. So there is now room to pick this up again for a little bit lower, but keep in mind, overall, it's still more expensive than it used to be. Chellia Lily is still really cheap to pick up for its base silvers, 8 cents for the regular form and 25 cents for the Evo right now. And then when it comes to the foils, not too much has been happening on that front, but the base forms foil has been holding around the $9, $10 mark, and the evolved version is a little lower than its $3.49 market price. It's $2.50 base to start off with. This card is still likely to be played in a lot of Forest decks going forward, and it is played in Fable as well. In fact, with the addition of Lilac, it's another target for Chellia Lily to pick up, so that increases its first skill for consistency's sake in comparison to how it used to be if you play it in Silverbolt. There was a call out from the Hige42 about Kawakami Princess, where I see that it's now at one listing at $90, and that got me curious as to where the other all the other Uma leaders are. And it seems like Kawakami Princess Bride is the only one that is really that far bought out with only one listing. You look at some of the other ones like Twin Turbo, there are 4 listings of that, 133, and then Manhattan Cafe is at 140 right now, and you've also got Narita Tyson at 118, Yaino Muteki at 80, Yukino Bijin at 72.50, and Grass Wonder at $45.95, so basically $46. But all of them have a decent amount of listings, except for Grass Wonder, which is down to 5, and technically Twin Turbo's also at 4, but Kawakami Princess Bride is almost out of stock, so if you're looking for that one, just keep that in mind. And our last card for today is the legendary of Riko Hashimoto, which I talked about how this card was going up quite significantly, but it looks like we have a few cheaper listings back on the market, although it's selling pretty readily at $15.50, and the low listings right now are all $15 to $15.50, and then there's a $17, $16.95 copy. Well, there are 5 copies from that seller before it goes back up into the $20 range. Keep in mind, this is a neutral and is played in at least 3 different deck variants, possibly more. Not for Uma, but for crafts, and you can play it in Uma, of course, but the fact that it's played amongst different crafts, for its skill is generic and quite strong, so I would anticipate that this will still hold in the $15 to $20 range for a while. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.